How many negative people do you have in your life? Or maybe you're thinking of one specific negative person that you want to remove from your life. What have you done to remove that person? Maybe you've tried to get away from them. Maybe you haven't tried anything. Negative people, you have pluses and you have minuses in your life. Simple math, right? If you're around negative people all day and they're just draining you mentally, physically, emotionally, man, that's a shitty way to live. Trust me, I know. I worked for somebody who I thought was my childhood idol for 6 years. I wanted to be like him. I wanted to act like him. I wanted to talk like him. I wanted to walk like him. You know, he had the nice Mercedes Benz. He had the big house. He was flashy on the outside, very charismatic, seemed to get along with people really well. He had this life on the outside that seemed very appealing. But once you get to know this guy, and you get to know somebody when you're with him every single day for 6 years, he was just negative all day, every day. Negative towards other people, negative towards locations, places, fields. He was a coach, so he was negative about fields, negative about things, products, bats, gloves. He was negative about the things that were being done or not done. Just negative all around, just so much negative energy. And when you're around negative people, you know this if you're watching this video, they suck your energy. Just by being around them, it's like, man, they just drain you. So how do you get rid of them? Anyways, let's get to the point. So if you want to get negative people, I'm going to give you 2 keys to get negative people out of your life, and take it from somebody who's been terrible at it. So number 1, you got to be aware. You got to be aware. So many of us have blind spots. Actually, let me rephrase that. All of us have blind spots. We all have blind spots. We all have things that we don't see. And obviously, coaches are great to point out blind spots. Mentors or teachers are great to point out blind spots so that we can learn and grow. But ultimately, we have to be our own best coach. We have to be able to say, okay, I've got to be aware of situations or things or people that aren't on my mind right now. So our mind can only think about so many things at one time, right? You know, the concept of 7 plus or minus 2 chunks. And it goes like this. Our brain can consciously only think about 7 pieces of information, or 7 pieces at a time, chunks of information, plus or minus 2. So sometimes it's 5, sometimes it's 9. It's in that range. It's not an exact number. It's not an exact science. But the point of the law, the rule is that our mind can't pay attention to an infinite amount of things. And we have these blind spots, these areas that we don't see because there's so many other areas that our focus and our energy can go to. So sometimes when we're around these negative people, we're not aware of what's going on with us physically, mentally, emotionally, how they're draining us, how they're affecting us. Maybe you're already aware of that negative person. That's why you're watching this video. So you've already got step 1 done. Be aware of it. Step number 2, and it's not going to be what you think it is. I'm going to throw you a little twist here. It is not to, stop seeing them or make sure you don't walk by them every day, or make sure you don't have a conversation with them or smile when you talk to them. No. I'm not talking about any of that. It's this. It's, if you want to remove negative people from your life, you can't physically force people where to go. You can't physically force people to be in a location or not be in a location. You can't physically force other people to do that. Governments have tried. Different cultures have tried to force people where to go, right? So you're not trying to create a dictatorship by any means. You're trying to live your life. So you can't force people to go or not go somewhere. So what you've got to do is you've got to cut off responsibility. This is point number 2. You've got to cut off responsibility that anybody else is responsible for your emotions. So if you've ever said the phrase, they make me feel blank, they make me feel happy, they make me feel sad, they make me feel angry, they make me feel guilty, they make me feel X, Y, and Z. If you've ever said the phrase, they make me feel, then you've assigned responsibility for somebody else and the way you feel. You've given them responsibility for the way you feel. Now, some people are going to mismatch that and say, okay, well, Sam, what about people that I love? They make me feel happy and make me feel loving. Well, that's your choice. You get to choose to feel that love. You get to choose to feel grateful. You get to choose that loving emotion that you feel. That's a choice. That is a choice. That is not because of them. Yes, they may have done something to spark that, but that is not their responsibility. That's your responsibility, and that's a choice that you make. On the opposite side of the equation, somebody might do something to piss you off, and it may trigger you. And this is not saying that you need to be emotionless and you can't feel anything or anything like that. This is taking responsibility for what the fuck we are processing the outside world inside. This is taking responsibility, saying, okay, this is going on outside of me. This is how I'm processing it. I'm not mad, and you may be mad for an hour or a day, but you need to get over it, and you need to get over it quickly, and you need to take responsibility quickly. The big problem that people have, and the big problem that I had for 6 years, I assigned responsibility in somebody else's life, somebody else's action, somebody else's words for how I feel. This negative person, I allowed that to happen. I allowed it to happen. That was my choice. I didn't consciously choose it. I wish I had somebody yelling at a screen or somebody yelling in my face to say, pay attention, wake up, Sam, wake the fuck up. So, end of rant. Wake up. We've got to wake up. We get to choose. It's our responsibility for the way we choose. Okay, yeah, something may piss us off. Something may frustrate us. Something may trigger us. It's our responsibility to snap out of it. Hopefully sooner rather than later. Appreciate you guys. If you like this, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you want me to rant about next.